Hey, what's going on guys, Elite here, and today we're going to be doing part 2 of our Crown Tundra VGC metagame analysis. So I believe we left off right around, I want to say, the Kartana mark. I know we already went over Landers, but I don't think we touched the Lottie Twins. So we have to go through the Lottie Twins all the way down to, all the way down to Zapdos. We have still quite a bit to get through today. But I don't think as much as yesterday. We got the bulk of the list done yesterday. I think we already talked about stuff like Nihilego, so we don't have too much to talk about, but we're still going to make this video because we want to get the rest of it out of the way. But before we even get into it, I really appreciate if you guys were to smash the subscribe button and like the video. We recently hit 80 subscribers, so I really want to thank you guys for all the support on the channel. Actually, as of recently, it's been pretty incredible. I remember, well, my VGC 2021 news video, I think, is almost at 100 views now, so you guys are just absolutely killing it. I really appreciate it. But let's get into the video. So the first mon we're going to talk about the first thing I wanted to mention that has been on my mind is we went over all the Tapus yesterday, and I talked about how Tapu Lele is going to be the best Tapu, and I want to retract that statement. I don't think Tapu Lele is going to be the best Tapu, because if you look at Tapu Lele, if you look at Lele has 95 speed, which is fast, but considering this thing's kind of frail, you want to run Scarf, which means you're locked into one move, and there are so many ways to exploit Tapu Lele. I don't think it's going to be as broken as people think it is. I think the best Tapu is going to be Coco. I think it's going to be Coco, then Lele, then Feeny, then Bulu. I think that's going to be the order. I still think Feeny will be the best Tapu, in my opinion. Because I like more balance. And we're also gonna talk about Indeedee. What's gonna happen to Indeedee? Now, not Inferno Overdrive. So I think Indeedee female is still going to get played. It's still going to be played because it gets Follow Me, and Follow Me still good. Do I think Indeedee female is going to be played as much as it was previously? No, I don't think it's going to be that good, but I still think you are going to see some of it. Now, Indeedee male. Indeedee male is probably my favorite Pokemon from Gen 8. I just look at its ears and they look like croissants to me, and I think it's the funniest thing. And it also looks like a dreidel. Its body looks like a dreidel. It's a cool Pokemon design wise, but this thing, yes, it has the same base speed as Lele. It has worse special defense. It has worse special attack, worse defense, and worse HP. So it's literally just a worse Lele. But here's the thing. It gets Trick Room and Imprison. So that is the one thing that Indeedee has over Lele. But here's the thing. Is that difference enough to make up for it? I don't think it is. Just because Lele just has an insane damage output, I don't think it's enough to make up for it, because you probably want to run Scarf on this thing just to outspeed everything, but then that means Trick Room in Prison is pretty bad. So I don't think Indeedee will be as good as Lele, but it does have Trick Room in Prison going for it. So that's what I wanted to talk about from yesterday's video. But we're going to get back into this one, and I think in this video I might already go over some of the same Pokemon, because I think I went a little bit out of order. We're going to pick up with the Lottie Twins. We're going to start with, the Lottie Twins, so I don't think we covered those yesterday. Now, the Lottie Twins are going to be pretty good in my opinion. I mean, you can just look at their stats. Look at the base stat total of 600. Latias, well, they both get access to Tailwind. Latias and Latios get access to Tailwind. So their Tailwind monsters is really good. Dragon Psychic is a good typing because it resists, it resists all the Tapu stabs. Yeah, it resists all the Tapu stabs, which is good. I mean, yeah, it doesn't resist their fairy type moves, but you could run, what's the one fairy damage reducing berry? I forget what it's called. It's not Kaseb. I don't know, but you could run the fairy reduced berry. This thing, it's extremely fast. Also, if you look at the stats, I think both are going to be used. I think Latios is going to be used a bit more than Latias, just because if you're a Tailwind user, most Tailwind users are not going to be prioritizing more bulk. You're definitely going to see Latias being used, even though Latios being used more. I mean, if you think about it, look, Latias is base 130 speed def and base 110 special attack. Base 110 special attack is good, but it's not anything crazy. But if you go to Latios, Latios is base 130 special attack, which is good. and its special defense is 110. Although it is 20 points less, you're not really going to be investing all that much into Spadef anyway. So, and this thing is just going to be a Tailwind Mon. Now, will Latias be good so it can take maybe a Moonblast better? Yeah, but you could always run a Fairy Reducing Berry, which I think they have that. I could be wrong, but I feel like you should have a Fairy Reducing Berry. I forget what it's called. If they have it, which I feel like you would, right? Roselia. So you could run a Roselia Berry, anyways, and then Latias would just be able to take pretty much even like a Specs Moonblast from Lele. It could take it, right? So that's gonna be the good thing. That's gonna be the good thing. About the Lotties. Alright, also Latias gets to go for a Stab Draco Meteor. It gets Calm Mind. Both of them get Calm Mind. And just really good. Latias is they're both going to be, I won't say they're going to be top tier, but I think they're going to be good. I mean, we did see, hold on. From what I can remember, in VGC 2018, we didn't really see any of the twins get that much play. And then randomly, Emilio Forbes took, I think, Latias to second place at the World Championships. So I'm saying it will be niche. I'm saying they'll be good, but there's going to be a lot of good Pokemon in this format. Just because a Pokemon's good doesn't mean it's going to be in the dominant in the format. But I think this Pokemon will have a niche in the format. It also gets Ally Switch, and also this thing can be run on like size spam sort of center teams. It's going to be really good. It does lose to Incineroar. They both lose to Incineroar, which Incineroar is going to be popular. But if you look at their speed, base 110 is pretty good because most of the Dragon-type Pokemon coming back, Garchomp, Salamence, and I forget there's another Dragon-type that I'm thinking about. But they're like base 100s or base like 101s or 102s. So Lottie Twins naturally outspeed, and base 110 is a very good speed. It's able to outspeed Lele if Lele is not Scarf, and base 110 just outspeeds a lot of Pokemon in the metagame because a lot of legendaries are like base 90s or base 100s. So Maltress is base 90, Zapdos is base 100, you know what I mean? So if the Lottie Twins were base 100, they wouldn't be as good. But a base 110 speed on a Tailwind Mon is pretty good. And the fact that this is a Tailwind Mon that can do stuff outside of Tailwind is really good. You can run Calm Mind if you want on this thing. It doesn't get Taunt, but this thing, it gets Energy Ball. This thing gets Shadow Ball, so you can hit Lele. You can run Thunderbolt if you really want. I think actually no, both Lottie Twins are getting Mystical Fire. So if we go down here, move pool additions, both Lottie Twins, hold on, let's see. Both Lottie Twins are getting Mystical Fire, I believe. Wait, where is it? They're getting Aura Sphere, and they're both getting Mystical Fire. You can see Mystical Fire on Latias, you can see Mystical Fire on Latios. So you're going to be able to hit Ferrothorn, you're going to be able to hit Kartana. So I think, honestly, they'll be a pretty good option. And you can pretty much tailor this Mon to basically what your team needs, because it has a lot of options on it. You know, if you want to be able to hit Stack Attacka, just go for Aura Sphere. You know what I mean? Like, I think it has some decent options. Alright, Magmorter. I'm not going to talk about this guy much. It was like the thing with, it was basically the same. It's basically the same thing that I talked about with Electivire. It has good special attack, but it's just not too good enough to utilize. And it has a speed set of 83, to which if you want to utilize this guy in under Tailwind, you're gonna have to go max speed. And still, even then, it's not gonna be super fast. And it's not bulky. It has 95 speed def, but it has middling defense and just like not a good HP stat. So at the end of the day, like, yes, it gets good moves. It gets, what, Energy Ball, I think. No, it doesn't. But it gets Grass Knot. Okay, it doesn't. But it gets Thunderbolt. It gets Psychic. It gets Focus Blast. It gets Fire Blast. It gets, like, good moves. It gets Heat Wave. It gets Lava Bloom. It has good coverage moves, but yet again, it's just, its stat distribution is bad. If they took out 30 points in attack and put 10 in speed and 15 in defense and then 5 more in HP, I'd be more compelled to use Magmorter. But just because it has that base stat, or that like stat distribution, I don't think it's going to be good. Also, we're getting Heat Train. Also, Incineroar is going to be really good. Like, I don't know. It's just not going to be good in my opinion. Mesprit. I think we already talked about Mesprit. I'm not exactly so sure. Oh, no, I didn't. Okay, so here's the thing with Mesprit. Mesprit, is just too bland to me. Yes, it gets a wide array of moves. I mean, this thing is it gets Trick Room. But here's the thing. Mesprit, unlike Azelf, which is just frail, but super offensive, and unlike Uxie, which Uxie's just defensive, Mesprit's just kind of that, just that teenager that's trying to find out what it wants, like, its sexuality. It really doesn't know what to do. I mean, it has, like, it doesn't know if it wants to go defensive or offensive. I mean, I feel like you're more inclined to go defensive, but yet again, if you're gonna go defensive, use Uxie. But if you're gonna go offensive, use Azelf. There's literally no reason to use Mesprit over. Okay, I don't really know its move pool compared to Uxie and Azelf, but if you want to go more defensive Mesprit, just use Uxie. If you want to go more offensive Mesprit, just use Azelf. And I talked about Azelf, and I said that Azelf's not going to be that good anyways. I mean, the only reason you would actually use this thing if you just like Mesprit. That's just it. Alright, next Pokemon. Metagross. Metagross is going to be pretty interesting. So the thing about Metagross is a lot of people have been experimenting. Weakness policy Metagross. If you don't know, back in 2017, this was actually one of the first weakness policy strats that pretty much hit mainstream. You would lead Salamance, you would lead Metagross. Salamance, you wouldn't be Scarf, but you could be Scarf, but you would be really fast Salamance, like max speed. You go for a Bulldoze. You proc your Metagross's weakness policy, but its ability to Clear Body would make it so that its speed stat isn't lowered. So you keep your base 70 speed, which if you invest like some speed into that, it can actually become a somewhat fast Pokemon, and then you just hit so hard because base 135, and you're taking not a lot of damage from on the defensive side, and even at that point, you have 90 base special defense, so it's not like you're not taking a lot, and you're not good against special hits. Like, this thing is going to be good. It's pretty much good against all the Tapus. It beats Lele. It can beat Fini. It can at least just deal a lot of damage to Fini, and it can't get burned because of Misty Surge, so that's really good. And Fini, honestly, unless they're running like Calm Mind Fini, they're taking turns to set up in front of the Metagross when you chip your Fini, and even then Fini has what, base 90 special attack, so it's not going to be chipping a lot. This thing beats Bulu. I mean, yeah, you could say Bulu can high horsepower, but again, like, it's base 130 defense on Metagross, and it has a weakness policy, and all you have to do is like switch in an Intimidator, and that high horsepower that was maybe doing 60% at most before is now doing what, 40 to 35%, and then you proc a weakness policy. It's good. It would be decent against Tapu Koko. It'd probably take a Rising Voltage and could deal quite a bit, like probably deal a solid 80% back to it, but it wouldn't be the best Koko check, but it is pretty good against all the other Tapus. But if you run like AV Metagross, that's a pretty good check to it. Metagross is going to be good. It just hits a lot of things hard in the metagame. It's going to be good against actually a lot of the Ultra Beasts coming back. Okay, maybe not. But yeah, I don't actually think it will. It's gonna be good against Stacka because it resists both the stack of stabs. It's gonna be actually decent against. It's gonna be pretty good against Pheromosa. Actually, it's gonna be really good against Pheromosa because you get a stab, super effective hit on it, which procs it down to Sash. If they're Sashed, if they're not Sashed, they're gone. But if they're Sash, then you just BP next turn, Bullet Punch next turn, and they're gone. So I think Metagross actually has a place in this metagame, and not to even mention the fact that Side Spam could be a thing. You know, you getting those stabs and headbutts in terrain is going to be super powerful. Now, is it going to be as powerful as it was in previous generations? No, because they nerfed the terrain boost from 1.5 to 1.3. So it's not going to be as strong, but still going to be incredibly strong. I think Metagross definitely has a place in this metagame. Also, Steel typing is going to be very good. It's going to be great against Togekiss. And actually, I mean, in some scenarios, it could be decent against Incineroar. I mean, Incineroar technically isn't even a check to this thing, because think about it. All you have to do is run, this thing gets Stomping Tantrum, right? And you're not going to, even at +2, you're probably not one-shotting Incineroar with Stomping Tantrum, but here's the thing, unless, you know, it gets that additional effect. But here's the thing, Incineroar is not going to be able to one-shot a Metagross, and you're proccing a weakness policy, and let's say you already got decent chip on an Incineroar, let's say with like a Koko Dazzling Gleam, or a Lele Moonblast, or or a Feeny Moonblast, you're probably gonna be able to pick up the KO with a Stomping Tantrum or two. You know what I mean? Or you could soak up a hit. You know, it'll take recoil. Or like, you don't even have to be policy. You could be like just more of a defensive Metagross. Soak up the hit because you're freaking Metagross. Then instant takes recoil. Then you Stomping Tantrum and back. You know what I mean? And maybe have some attack investment. Like Metagross could be like, it's just gonna be an all-around solid Pokemon. It's not going to be good against Landorus, but it's just gonna be an all-around solid Pokemon. All right, what next? Maltress. Okay, so we have Galarian Moltres coming back, which is Fire Dark, and I don't think Galarian Moltres is going to be that good just because, like, okay, the way I'm thinking about it is Galarian Moltres, the two things that it brings to the table is, number one, it probably gets Tailwind, and number two, it gets its signature move, which has a chance to flinch. We don't know what percent that is. I'm assuming it's like 20, 30. But you're missing out, and it gets what, Defiant? I don't really know. No, it gets Berserk, which powers up its moves when it gets injured or when it gets hurt. But here's the thing, guys. There's a Fire Dark type. He's a furry wrestler. His name's Incineroar. Fake Out, U-turn, Intimidate, Parting Shot. Probably some of the best and most well distributed base stats in the game. Has incredible bulk. Like, Galarian Moltres isn't going to be good. Moltres, on the other hand, I just don't think Moltres is going to be good because here's the thing, guys. Moltres, you're not running physical Moltres. You're running special. So if you're running special Moltres, what are your flying options? Oh, you get Air Slash. Okay, that's base 75, and it's only base 90 speed, and I don't know. And you probably want to run Hurricane on this, but you know, you're probably going to be running a rain team then. It gets Tailwind, yeah, but I don't know. I think it'll be niche, excuse me, at best. At best. I just don't think this mon's going to be good. As a Tailwind setter, it gets outclassed by basically every other Tailwind setter out there. And, you know, I guess it will be niche on rain teams at best, you know, for dealing with a Rillaboom, I suppose, and like Tapu Bulu and Kartana. So if you're running a rain team, consider maybe teching this thing, but if you're not running a rain team, I'd say forget it. I wouldn't really consider it, again, unless you just want to use it. Like, that's pretty much what I'm saying. I wouldn't consider it. That's not even competitively. If you want to use this thing just for fun, like, I plan on using a Centiskorch team for Series 7 just because I like Centiskorch. Is Centiskorch going to be good? I doubt so. But am I going to try to make it work? Yeah, because I like Centiskorch. But here's the thing. Moltres, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be good. Nidoking. Nidoking's never been good. It doesn't have enough bulk as, well, like 81 HP, 77 defense, 75 speed def, and it doesn't have, you're not, you know, running physical is bad, so you're going to run special. Wait, let's see, even if your sheer force, excuse me, I'm tired. Let's say your sheer force and life orb, you're just still not doing enough damage for it to be worth even running Nidoking. There's going to be a plethora of just better poison types. We went over Naganadel. We went over, well, Dragalge. I mean, just look at poison types now. Venusaur, I mean, this is going to be a Venusaur. You know, you're competing for a Venusaur, you're competing for a Moongus, Crobat, Dragalge, Nihilego. I mean, Roserade to a certain extent. Roserade's been niche in the meta. Toxtricity, which has been good. Weezing, or Galarian and Weezing, which is still going to be decent. Like, there's really no reason to run it over them, in my opinion. It's just not worth it. It doesn't bring enough to the table. Like, yes, it gets a wide variety of moves, but it's not good. Nidoking is kind of the same thing. I mean, they have what, similar? Yeah, they have very similar base stat totals. Actually, yeah, they have really similar base stat totals. Although Nidoking has a bit more bulk. But just because it has, let's say it has 90 HP and 87 and 85. Yes, it gets sheer force, but it's coming off a base 75 special attack. And here's the thing with Nidoking. If you invest in special attack, you're missing out on that bulk, which Nidoking kind of wants to lift some hits. Because Nidoking's probably going to be more bulky, just because, think about it, it's only got 76 speed. Like, yes, it did well in, what, Japan Nationals or something in, I don't know, 2018. But that's a Japanese player. Let's be real, they always do the freaking craziest stuff. I just don't think this mon's going to be good at all. I don't think the Nidos are going to be good at all. Alright, let's talk about Riko. Riko could see some use. I just don't. I think it's going to be the worst out of all of the legendary dogs. Yeah, it gets Helping Hand. Yeah, it gets Airy Impulse. Yeah, it gets Scald. But if you look at Riko, I mean, yes, it gets, it has good, is decent HP, but it has bad SPDF, or has bad defense, but it has good speed and good special attack. But here's the thing, there's Coco. And if you're running Coco, you're already weak to something else, but, okay, you're already weak to ground, so why would you want to bring Riko there as well? Also, Riko's, I don't know, it just, I don't think it hasn't been good in doubles. I can see Entei being used. I can see Suicune being used. Heck, Suicune has gotten usage in VGC before. And Entei probably has gotten usage in VGC before. I don't think Riko has. Even though it does get rising voltage now, you're going to have to be running Tapu Koko with this thing to make it work. And you know what that makes you very susceptible to? Stuff like Landorus and stuff like Garchomp. I just don't think it's gonna be good. And even Raichu still might be decent. Like, people probably will still run stuff like Raichu, Gyarados, potentially. You know what I mean? I just don't think it's going to be good. And also, that makes you super susceptible to grass, like Rillaboom and stuff like that. I just think Raikou, it's just not going to be good. It like, for a legendary, I think there are better options. I mean, heck. Just look at Raichu, Alolan Raichu. Alolan Raichu has double the speed, so pretty much you can go a modest Alolan Raichu, because when it's under electric terrain, it gets that Surge Surfer. Yes, it has less bulk overall, but it has a nice psychic typing, which actually allows it to hit those dragons for us, like a super effective, or not super effective, for just a stab psychic. And let's say you invest in this. Okay, I don't have it set to level 50, but if you can go like a modest 252 and then this. And you'll still outspeed everything. You probably don't even need that full speed investment if you're just calculating for electric terrain being up. So you could probably throw some in HP and defense or whatnot, like whatever you want. I just don't, and it also gets rising voltage. I just don't think Raikou is going to be good. I mean, prove me wrong. Alright, Regice. I think I talked about this. I think I talked about the Regis, but, you know, Regice, it's never really seen play in VGC. It's too slow for VGC. Yes, it has bulk, but it doesn't have recovery. It doesn't bring much to the table. It just sits there. It would just sit there. Same as Regigigas. Okay, Regis, you're not going to see it. Regigigas, people are thinking, oh, well, once Regigigas is coming back, I have Galarian Weezing and it'll be broken. No, it's not. So think about it, right? You still have to have this thing. Okay, like, here's the thing. Regigigas, it's normal type, so that means it has stab normal type moves, and being normal type in VGC basically puts yourself in a more of a supportive role. But with Regigigas, you I feel like some people want to run more of a offensive Regigigas because it has that base 160 power, or base 160 attack stat. Yeah. But here's the thing, if you run Galarian Weezing, so whenever you switch Galarian Weezing out, this ability then starts up again. So then you have 5 turns. Whenever Weezing is knocked out, this ability will start up again. So basically, whenever Weezing is not on the field and Regigigas is, you're putting yourself at such a disadvantage. Shoot my mic. Sorry about that. Probably sounded bad. But here is the thing. Yes, its stats are good, but just the fact that it's a normal type, like, it gets a lot of coverage moves, but intimidate this thing once, and it's not that threatening. It's just, I don't know. I tried to use some Regigigas shenanigans in the past when I was, what, 12? Or no, 13, and I was just memeing. Like, I used, like, Sun Mind Blown, and, like, Tapu Koko with, Alolan Golem, and then Galvanized Explosion. You know, some stupid stuff, right? But this, no. It's not going to be good. I feel like all the people that I think is going to be good, you can try to meme with it. You can maybe get like 1 win out of every 5 games, but it's not going to be good. Same goes for the rest of the Regis, with the same with Regice. They're just too slow, and they don't bring enough to the table. The fact that Regirock gets Body Slam maybe makes it viable, but yet again, no. Just no. Relicanth. Yet again, like, it doesn't get really, okay, it gets Swift Swim. Alright, you know what, but we'll give this thing the benefit of the doubt. It at least gets Swift Swim, right? But if you're a Swift Swim user, wouldn't this be better? It's literally just a worse Kabutops. Because you're pretty much, unless you're going to be a Trick Room mon, which, okay, you could run Relicanth and Trick Room. Here's the thing. Relicanth, if you're using Swift Swim, is a worse Kabutops. If you want to use Relicanth and Trick Room, I mean, I guess you could. It has decent defense, you know. It is good defense, so I mean, you could. And you can maybe go for like a Bulldoze proc. I'm saying, like, maybe, like, it is probably usable in Trick Room. I'm not saying it'll be good at all, but you could use it. But, like, here's the thing. You probably just, like, for Swift Swim, Kabutops is better. For Trick Room, Relicanth is better. But most of the time, if you're running Rain, you're going to be running more of a fast offensive team. So, arguably, Kabutops just outclasses Relicanth in every way. Other than Relicanth gets Head Smash, so it gets a base 150 power max move. And it gets Rock Head, but if you're running Rock Head, I don't know. I just don't think Relicanth is good. You could argue, oh, well, Rock Head, Life Orb, and then Trick Room, but there's just going to be so many better Trick Room mons. Also, Kartana, also Rillaboom, just one-shot that. It's not going to be good. Salamance. This is where we talk about Salamance. Hell yeah, brother. Salamance, it gets two really good abilities. Intimidate, which is just more of a utility mon. This thing can switch in Intimidate, which is really good. Or you could go Moxie. Do I think Moxie is going to be as good? Probably not. As good as like Moxie Dose. Probably not, because Moxie Dose has the typing and it has more of the bulk for it. Because when Tapus are coming back, Moxie Dose is going to be good. The only Tapu that it suffers, that it doesn't like to deal with, is going to be Tapu Koko. But you put a Raichu next to it, and then you're fine. You know what I mean? So, but Salamence, against any of the Tapus, except maybe Tapu Bulu, you know, it's kind of scared. You know what I mean? Because Feeny comes in, Dragon-type moves instantly halved. So, I don't think it's going to be as, like, in Moxie's going to be as good as people, may think it is. So I think this thing's going to be just more of an Intimidate mon. You're going to run like Tailwind. You're going to run, I don't know, Dragon Claw. And like you're going to run Fly and Protect. Or you could even tech a move like Flamethrower as well to hit something like, or like Fire Fang. Probably Flamethrower or Fire Fang, depending on what you want to go for. To hit something like Kartana and Ferrothorn. So like it has options. It's going to be good. It was good in VGC 20. It was actually good in... Yeah, it was in 17, I think. It was good in, I think it was in 17. I could be wrong. It was good in 17, it was good in 18, and it was good in 19. Actually, I used Mega Salamence to get top 32 in the world at the 2019 World Championship. So it's a good Pokemon. Now, I use a different set because Mega Salamence operates a lot differently than Salamence with the Aerial Aid ability. So I use Tailwind, Double Edge, Hyper Voice, Protect. But I still think Salamence is going to be pretty good. It's going to be a good Dynamax Pokemon. It's going to be a decent support mon and a pretty good offensive mon. Like, it doesn't have the worst bulk. Like, it has actually decent bulk. So it's going to be able to take some hits. And it can dish out just a bunch of damage. And base 100 speed isn't bad, but you are going to be speed tying with a lot of Pokemon, which honestly for Mence isn't favorable. And also, Garchomp hits base 102, I think. So you're going to be outsped by Garchomp. So, I don't know. I think Salamence is going to be good in VGC 2021, but I don't think it's going to be the greatest thing. Alright. How much more? Oh, we're kind of reaching the end here. Sceptile. Sceptile. The thing about Sceptile is, it's never really been good in VGC. I don't think it's going to be good now. Like, even Mega Sceptile was just used for memes. Honestly, just like a Weedle Twin Needle meme video. That's it. Yeah, it gets Grass Glide, but what does it have, like, base 90 attack? It gets base 85, but I don't know, man. Just tell me what this thing does that's going to be good against stuff like Kartana, Celesteela, Incineroar, Landorus. Even stuff like Lele. Scarf Lele freaking destroys this thing. Heatran, what? Okay, yeah, maybe it gets like Mud Shot or something. I don't know. Okay, it gets Earthquake, fine, but I don't see any use in really running Sceptile. Now, okay, you could. All right, there is one reason. Unburdened. You can run Unburdened, Psychic, Electric Seed, Grassy Seed. I don't know. And then go for, what does it get? Does it get Sing? I don't know. This thing gets Grassy Whistle, so. You know, you have a 55% chance of putting your opponent to sleep, so that's cool. It's just a really fast Mon. It can, what, help? It doesn't even get Helping Hand. No, it doesn't. I don't know. It's a fast Mon, so I guess, you know, it's super fast. It's probably going to be one of the fastest Pokemon with Unburdened. But in my opinion, that's all it is. It's just a fast Pokemon. And at the end of the day, if that's all it does, it's not going to be good to me. Spiritomb, like I said, not really being used in VGC much. I don't think it's gonna be good. I mean, Sceptile, yeah, it gets some cool moves, but not anything great. Spiritomb gets Phantom Force, and it gets Poltergeist, so that's cool. But yet again, it just won't be good. It just won't be good. It's not gonna be good. Like it hasn't been good in VGC before, so why now? When we have all the Tapus running around, you know what I mean? All right, well, it's time to talk about Suicune. Suicune is gonna do basically everything it's done before in VGC. This thing's going to go for Snarls. This thing's gonna go for Tailwinds. This thing's gonna go. This thing's gonna go for Icy Winds. It's just gonna be it's gonna be really bulky. It's kind of comparable to Cresselia in a way. Just super bulky, slows down the game, or like even a P2. It's just super bulky, slows down the game. Although it gets Tailwind instead of Trick Room. I don't think it will be good. Like I said, I think it's gonna be just extremely niche, just because it can be exploited easily by the metagame and all the Pokemon coming back. Tapu Koko, Kartana. I mean, even, well, Rillaboom, Venusaur, Tapu Bulu. But I think it will still be niche just because this thing is that bulky, and it gets inner focus as well, so it can't be flinched. So you can get a turn 1 Tailwind without being, and you don't have to worry about being fake outed. Not bad. I mean, like this Pokemon has the opportunity to be good. It's just that there are going to be so many other good Pokemon. And there's going to be so many other good Pokemon that I don't think this Pokemon is going to, or I don't think Suicune's going to be able to distinguish itself among the masses of other Pokemon coming back. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not looking at this thing and saying, oh, it's a bad Pokemon. Like, oh, Suicune, pff, that's trash. I'm just looking at this and saying, it's a good Pokemon, but it's just not going to be able to set, like, it's just not going to be able to do enough to make a name for itself. You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to hint at here. Yeah, that's really what I'm trying to hint at here. Alright. Swampert. Now, I'm basically talking about this video, like Megas aren't coming back. Excuse me, I'm really tired. If Megas are coming back, I think Swampert will be niche. I didn't want to go to Microsoft Learning Support, but okay. If Swampert's going to come back, it's not going to be good. It just, I don't know. Although it has nice bulk to it. But just, and it gets body press, I think, now. Yeah, it gets body press, it gets high horsepower. Like, it gets so many cool moves. But it's just not going to be good. It's like a worse Gastrodon. I don't know. Like, it gets so many cool moves, and like its stats are actually kind of nice. Like, it could be a somewhat decent Trick Room. I mean, 100, 110, 90, and 90, not bad. But yet again, in this format, there's going to be so many Pokemon that have really good stats going for them, and they have a really good supportive move pool, or just a really good move pool. And yeah, it has a good move pool, but it's just lackluster, and I don't know. I don't know how to describe Swampert, other than I don't think it's going to be good. Do I think it's going to be 100% unviable and I will never see a Swampert in my life in VGC 2021? No. Because it's a counter to Heatran, I suppose. But do I think this Pokemon's going to be good? No. I don't think it is. Tyrantrum. Now, actually, I do like Tyrantrum. I love dinosaurs, so it's kind of fitting for me to like Tyrantrum. But here's the thing. It's got base 71 speed, so it's not slow enough for Trick Room, but it's not fast enough for really Tailwind. So you're gonna have to run a Scarf, but if you're running Scarf, you're really missing out on that, you know, on that extra bit of damage output that like a Bandage set or a Life Orb set could do. Also, this thing's really frail. I mean, yeah, it has nice defense, but special defense is bad, and considering this thing gets blown back by 3 out of the 4 Tapus, and it gets outsped by pretty much every Dragon type, and you're basically locking yourself into a move, and it's prone to Intimidate, I don't think this mon's going to be good at all. Sure, I mean, could you see, like, that's a +1 doing a video on Tyrantrum? Yeah. And he's gonna win some battles with it, but that's from a stream. He's picking battles from a stream. Do I think this mon's gonna be good? No, I don't. Which is a shame, because I like Tyrantrum, but I just don't see this mon is going to be good, other than a meme team, you know? On a meme team, it'll be fun, you know? Like, on an all-fossil team, I'd run Tyrantrum. It's a cool Pokemon. I mean, it's literally just a T-Rex. It's cool. I like the color palette. I like the little kind of amber accent crest on its head. Not crest, but crown on its head. It's cool. I like it. I don't think it's going to be good, though. Uxie. Alright, so when we were talking about Mesprit, I said Mesprit just didn't, it was just in that really awkward phase. Uxie, Uxie knows what it wants to be. Uxie is literally like it's like a dual screens, going for, I don't know what else it gets, but it gets like, you're probably going to be running screens, this thing, because this thing's really bulky. It doesn't even get Trick Room. Oh, it does get Trick Room, so Uxie is a Trick Room mon. Does it get Imprison? And Uxie is a Trick Room Imprison mon as well, so that's pretty good. So that's good to know. So it could be like dual screens, Trick Room, Imprison. It gets Psychic, so you can deal some decent chip damage with Psychic. It gets Fire Punch, like, or it probably gets Fire Punch if you want to hit something like a Kartana or Ferrothorn. Although it's probably not going to be doing much. It gets Ice Beam if you want to hit Landorus. But honestly, this thing's just a worse Cresselia. Like, look at this thing compared to Cresselia. Like, look at this. Cresselia has better HP. Lot better HP. Okay, yeah, it has 10 less defense. But it has... Well, actually, Uxie's not even a good Trick Room Center because it has base 95 speed. But Cresselia is base 85 speed, so if you go like 0 in speed, I mean, you're really somewhat slow as well. So, you know, it's going to be good. But 95 is just too fast, even if you go like a 0 EV minus speed nature. You know, it's just too fast for Trick Room. Cresselia at least can manage under Trick Room, sort of. So, like, with Tyrantrum, Tyrantrum can operate under Trick Room. But, I don't know, like Tyrantrum, you probably just want to run that Scarf. Even if you run Banded, it's going to be outsped by other Trick Room Pokemon. But Cresselia is just bulky enough to where it can just live their hits. And Uxie's just going to be a worse Cresselia. I mean, does Cresselia get screens? Okay, yeah, the only reason why you would run this Pokemon is... And the only reason why you'd run Uxie is because you like Uxie, and it has maybe a bit more speed than Cresselia, and also it gets Imprisoned. That's it. Those are its advantage over Cresselia. I don't think it's going to be good. But at least you can see, you know, some areas in which it differs from Cresselia, although Cresselia is just going to be infinitely better in my opinion. Okay, we have 3 more Pokemon to discuss. There is Victini. Well, Victini and Volcanion are mythical Pokemon, so mythical Pokemon are allowed in VGC. And so there's really no point in talking about them. Although I do like Victini. Victini is my second favorite Pokemon, so it is kind of cool to see what it gets. It gets Mystical Fire, and it gets Expanding Force. So that's actually kind of cool. That's neat. Alright, we're going to talk about Walrein here. It again. Okay, look at Walrein. It gets Swords Dance now, which is cool. It gets Liquidation and Body Press. That's cool. And it has good defense. It's kind of like the whole thing with Swampert, right? It's good stats, but it's... I don't know. It's just kind of awkward. It's just kind of awkward. Like... See, here's the thing. Swampert has good stats, but it was never really used in VGC other than Mega Swampert. You know what I mean? And Walrein has good stats, but it was not... Okay. It got placements from this one player... I watched False Life Gaming's video. He talked about how one player in like 2016 ended up getting results with it because he ran like I don't even know what he ran. Did he run sheer cold? I don't even know. Yeah, I don't even know what he ran. But oh, he ran like a Super Fang set or something. I don't know. But here's the thing, Wall Rain. Ice water? Look at this, guys. Look at Lapras. Lapras is infinitely better. It has better bulk, better HP. Yeah, it has less special attack, but Gmax Lapras is the best Gmax Mon to ever exist. There's a reason why Gmax Lapras is good. Like, why use Wall Rain when you have Lapras? You know what I mean? I don't know. Like, even use physical Lapras over Wall Rain, just because still its max is gonna be good because it's at screens. And what, this thing gets Icicle Crash, I think? Okay, what Ice type moves does it get that are physical? Okay, this thing gets Avalanche. I mean, yeah, it's not gonna be amazing, but you can still run physical Lapras. This thing gets Liquidation. So, I mean, you know, there's really no reason to run Wall Rain. Alright, next Pokemon. Circuitry. Alright, this thing's gonna be a threat. So now that we have Tapu Koko and this thing gets Rising Voltage, it's gonna be absolutely insane. So you could run a Scarf set, and notice this thing has 173 special attack. So imagine a base 140 power stab in terrain, Rising Voltage. Pretty much any mon that doesn't resist it or has a sash or is immune is going to pretty much take at least probably 80%. If your name is not P2, Dusclops, or Cresselia, because they will probably... No, they'll still take a lot. This one's going to be good. I don't think it's going to be as good as people think it is. Just because all the Tapus exist and whatnot. But I think this mon in the right circumstances is going to be very good. I mean, Sam Pandelas did well with it. I think, yeah, under the right circumstances, this thing is going to be very good. You can still go for the standard Tail Glow, Energy Ball, Thunderbolt set. This thing also gets Dazzling Gleam, I think. If this thing gets Dazzling Gleam for stab damage, this thing gets Discharge. So you can run this with like a Garchomp and go for like Disc Quake. No, okay, well, you can't go for Disc Quake. Okay, but you can discharge in front of ground types, or even like, oh, wait, you wanted to use Mega Sceptile? No, you can't anymore, because Sceptile's trash. But still, Circuitry, I think Circuitry is going to be good. I just think it's going to be... I think it's going to be niche. I don't think this mon's going to be amazing. I think it's going to be niche. But it's going to be a mon that, when it's on those niche teams, you have to instantly respect it. You have to instantly respect it. You have to, or else you lose. You have to respect this mon. Alright, one last Pokemon we have to go through, Zapdos. Now, because Zapdos actually lost Z-moves, Zapdos really liked to run Z-moves in Gen 7, and the fact that it lost that means it just doesn't have enough offensive presence. And for flying type moves, it doesn't really get much. Did it get Air Slash? Okay, it got Air Slash and Hurricane. Okay, you know what? No. You know what? I'll take it back. I was about to say I don't think this mon will be good, but think about it, right? Hold on. Think about this. You remember how I talked about how Maltress might be used on some rain teams? No, screw that. This thing gets Thunder and Hurricane now. And it gets Tailwind. Well, it got Tailwind, so I'm assuming it still gets Tailwind. And it gets Rising Voltage if you want. So think about this. This thing gets 2 stab base 110 power moves, and it covers the weaknesses of rain teams in that they're weak to grass types. Because, with Maltress, yeah, you can hit grass types for super effective damage, but it's pretty much neutral because of the rain. But with Zapdos, you have a stab super effective Hurricane coming off of a really good special attack stat, and it has good speed, and it can go for max airstreams, and it could even run an Assault Vest. It could run Life Orb. It could run like Expert Bell. It could run a Berry set. There's so many things. There's so many items this Pokemon could run. I think it's going to be extremely good. I think Zapdos is going to be pretty good. I'm not going to lie. I think it's going to be a must-have for rain teams. Okay, I like rain, so I'm going to talk about this. You can run like Zapdos, Politoed, Kingdra, and then something like, I don't know, you could run like Rillaboom, Magnezone, stuff like that. I don't know. But I think it's going to be good. I think it's definitely going to be good. I mean, you can run physical if you really want, but I don't think that's the right play. But I think Zapdos is going to be a very good mon. Definitely on rain teams. Alright, so we spent in total part 1 and part 2, an hour and a half kind of going over all the returning Pokemon and whether they're going to be good or not. I hope this gave you a good idea of what VGC 2021 will look like, what to be prepared for, what mons to start thinking about and whatnot, because I'm recording this on the 13th. 9 days, boys, 9 days, Crown Tundra comes out, and soon after Crown Tundra, Players Cup 2, and I'm pretty sure I made the regional qualifiers, so, and VGC 2021 starts November, so, you guys get your teams together, and I hope these speculation videos helped, and it honestly helped me kind of go through every one of the Pokemon and think about which ones were viable. So with that, I'm just going to end this off here, and if you guys enjoyed, smash the like button down below and subscribe.